Welcome back to Chaos Collectibles. So the last couple days I've been working on this custom figure. It's the first one I've done in probably a month if you count the Conan. Anyhow, I did take your advices on this. So without further ado, let's take a look at this bad boy. All right. So this is the Gorilla Warrior. So first things first. One of our viewers here, my bro, Dick I, ended up recommending to add some sculpt to the head to make it look a little larger, because it is pretty small. I tried doing that, and the only thing is that Procreate sculpt that I have is a little bit hard to work with. I'm not very good at using that stuff yet, and I wasn't very happy with the result that I got from it. So I ended up using one of these old Knight and Warrior helmets that I had lying around, and I ended up using that instead to kind of fill the head out a little bit. And I ended up listening to Rider Origin because I ended up sculpting some larger traps on this guy. So he's got pretty big traps compared to a normal Zolo. So that's what I ended up doing there. And again, I used the magnets for the head. I used that 3D printed head on this bad boy. And I got this pretty cool color from Hobby Lobby. It was a Vallejo paint. It's called Black Gray. So I ended up painting the whole thing black gray from head to toe. And I kind of like the color of it. Very cool. It's not quite black, it's not quite gray. It's like a dark charcoal color. And then what I ended up doing is there's a Stonewall gray. And I just dry brushed over the chest. And I thought about trying to paint some fur on this thing. And I'm like, I just want to keep this kind of simple. So I just ended up leaving the arms that original color. And then I ended up painting the helmet gray with that same gray color when I really didn't need to, because I ended up going over it with a gunmetal as well as the wristbands. And then I dry brushed over the hands. I did gunmetal on the belt. And then I used a leather brown for the loincloth. And then I ended up dry brushing that same Stonewall gray with the feet. And then I went over the entire thing. Oh, his eyes are yellow too. I don't know if you can see his eyes or not, but I did paint his eyes yellow. And I also dry brushed the face with that same gray. And then I used a crimson red mixed with bone white to get the gums and the tongue. And the tongue, I did do it a little bit more red. I added a little bit more red to that same color. So I painted the inside of his mouth, and then I painted his teeth bone white as well. And you can tell that I've painted all of the teeth in there. So yeah, so this is the new, and I gave him a Zolo axe. Now I did have an idea of putting like a loincloth on him, like I did with some of my other ones, where I took the old t-shirt black, cut it out, and then I was gonna put this clown spawn belt on him. But I figured this would probably give it a little bit more color instead of just going with the black and then like just a brown belt. So I ended up leaving it like this, just to try to give him a little bit more color. I think that black would have just been a little bit too much for it. Too much black in there. And then I gave him a Grim the Executioner axe. I thought about making like a giant hammer for this guy, but I just didn't have have what I needed to try to do that, because when I used that self-hardening clay a while back, the figure ended up falling, and this stuff just broke because this thing is freaking heavy. So I'm gonna have to get some more Procreate stuff and then figure out a way to use some foil or something to kind of fill in a lot of the mass, because I mean this thing's pretty freaking heavy. So I mean it looks cool and stuff, but just not practical. So when it comes to stuff like this, you know, when you have big weapons and stuff, I gotta look for like a bottle, maybe like a small aspirin bottle or something, and then just sculpt over that for a hammer in the future. But yeah, this is my newest custom figure, ape, to go with the other monkey that I have. In fact, I meant to grab that guy so we can kind of compare the two. In fact, I'll run over there and I'll grab him real quick. Give me 1 second here. So this is the original Ape Man that I did, which was inspired by the one from the Zoloworld show, but there's this white and skin color, peach, and they put some white fur on them. But I got two apes here now. So one is definitely more angry than the other, but yeah, you can see where I sculpted the traps on this guy to make him look much more menacing, larger, and to fill that neck area out a little bit more. But yeah, this is my newest custom figure. Ape Warrior. Need to come up with a name for this bad boy, but I'm pretty pleased with the way that this guy turned out. And all right, everybody, thanks again for tuning in. I hope you all have an awesome day. Until next time. Woo!